Honestly, I think it was just an unfortunate situation where they weren't dedicating enough resource to how we're instigating our DPS here from UCSD to also provide for your tank. So in essence here, Strider, we saw it really at the doorway, was a chef's kiss version of it, was we put that bubble onto our Venture. As our Venture goes in and reveals himself and tells San Diego, surprise, I'm here. So when they turn, they're not fully aware that there is that bubble on that Venture. And in that moment, we're trying to force them out. We get an insane amount of charge for Strider. That's how Strider's able to get these ultimate charges so quickly. Whereas Moosh has to basically rely on the idea of I need my DPS to get insanely low and for me to save them to get maximum value from my shout. And unfortunately, you end up in situations where you're putting people at death's door. Unfortunately, Gloomy and Fangblade will be the first ones to meet death today.
Yeah, talking with Doc earlier as well, you have Strider at the top Wrecking Ball player. Why not utilize Strider in this case? Gets the team kill already very early on, and 45% on the ultimate. Will take first cap at the point, even though this thing unlocks in 2 seconds. It shows you just how quickly they go around here. And the Anakitiko back out in play instead of the Brig. And Juno, yes, the Brig can stop the Wrecking Ball, but how about the rest of the team? That can you get to it? There's no hit scan at all on this team of UC San Diego. The only one maybe you've got is Fangblade. I don't think Fangblade does enough damage to even touch this bar all too much. And Hex is already getting down. Reeves is not a good situation for the Tritons here, as they lose out on their traces for right now, so they got to wait on their little bit more of a rush. But this Anakitiko and just the actual just damage of this Wrecking Ball, an absolute threat to them right now. Trying to dive on into at least on the backside here, but they're spread out all over the place and can't really get a solidified position. Strider's able to take down Gloomy, so the one thing that can stop the Wrecking Ball is gone, and now knocking off the Junker Queen off the map.
No.
Strider knocks off Moose down into the depths below, as it will be Boise State holding on to this point very well off too.
I mean, the Broncos understand where they need to be going and pathing in order to sustain and get saved by each other in these moments. I mean, you got Far who can boot people off, you have Wrecking Ball who can boot people off, and you pointed it out, the fact that we have no hit scan to compensate for the fact that there is a Pharah in the sky that is raining fire down from above. So we finally swap over to this D.Va and we swap Lucio, but you have to ignore Pharah, take care of the team, and then look at Pharah when you're running such a low hit scan composition like the Tritons currently are. But unfortunately, one of them going down and the other one, Fangblade, also going down. Diamond Dog does get eliminated. It was a trade.
Yeah, but yeah, Frost, you can calm down there. One direct hit and it's just gone. Just poof goes the character. But 78% looking very clean for the Broncos right now. Boise State looking to clean up house here. 175 back in control center. They want to make sure that not a speck of dust plays on this point right now. As 88% rolling, looking for one more fight for Boise State to take care of this. UC San Diego with no answers right now. They do have a pulse bomb available, 3 ultimates on the side of Boise State. Might even have a tectonic shock available to decide where we'll see where they decide to use it here. 99% overtime clock will fade out there. But however, there will be the nano boost onto the far with the barrage available. This Juno's going off the map, and I don't know if this Juno gets back on. Has to kind of dance around a little bit to make sure that this far is dancing. UC San Diego, in the meanwhile, flips the point, but it doesn't really matter here when Strider is able to find 2, and Fangblade, yes, cannot dance back onto the map, instead falls off the map, and so Boise State gets to flip back. 6% only. It's not going to be clean, but it's going to be good anyways. Boise State cleans up house on control center and Gardens 175-106, and the Broncos are off and galloping 1-0. Watch point Gibraltar. So again, planned out everything here for Boise State side. They're looking maybe to go a little bit more divey-ish. I mean, you still had that with the Wrecking Ball anyways. I don't expect anything different here. But for UC San Diego, they want to play something maybe a little bit different on their scorecard, maybe a little bit different in their playbook. Who knows? Because at this point, they're going to need to find something to try to tie up the series.
Well, we're going to Gibby, and honestly, let's be real here. They're 2 tanks that very much so have always been good on this map. Wrecking Ball is one of them, and then Winston is the other. Super excited to see how Moosh performs on this Winston. We have Zinnia coming in on this Widowmaker, and I feel like Widowmaker kind of was forgotten about for a little bit of time when the Ashe buff came through, and everyone's like, oh, Ashe is where it's at. Ashe is all we need. Widowmaker is still very viable, very powerful, and yes, I will say she is very beautiful. With that being said, it's all about taking attention, going in, creating chaos, and allowing Zinnia to swing out, get the pick, and get to safety. Hopefully someone scouts Strider up here doing the standard ball strat. Yes, our Ana did. Fangblade's like, yeah, you're not getting away with that today, my friend.
Fangblade knows that if there's a Wrecking Ball on the other side, look up. You have to look at the skies above. Even though there's no Pharah, there's no Echo. Yeah, there's a third flying character. Usually it's the Wrecking Ball just playing for a little bit of shenanigans, if you will. But already continuing to escort this payload down to the downhill side, but Strider's going to make this a lot harder here as they try to dive the upstairs. Great bionade, by the way, from Lyric to make sure they can't run up the stairs. So UC San Diego's got to go back for some questions and some answers to find. But the payload does get to the uphill part. That's one of the harder parts to leave off of it, though. You want it to go around the corner. Unfortunately, they're stuck in the downhill part.
And I need to give full shout-outs to both these Tracers. They had their assignment, they took their assignment and got A+. Reaps was the one pushing that payload, knowing, hey, this is my one job. And Diamond Dog went for that challenge, and it's still doing it. This is what you get to do as Tracer here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, is battle it out on payload, take as much attention as possible, try to stall it, and try to push it. But we have Moosh coming in. He's ready with the Primal, but gets slept. There was a beautiful anti in this room. We'll find Hex. Diamond Dog gets waved goodbye by Reaps on that payload, and Ana gets stomped down, sent back to spawn.
Yeah, there's finally an open door here for UC San Diego. They get the Primal Rage, and in fact, that cart may be close enough to where Boise State can't even contest, especially down 3 people, and especially down Strider as well for right now. So 3 meters left. Can Reaps even, or can rather Diamond Dog even touch the point? That answer is no. They're going to stave away from it. So UC San Diego finds the open door. Good bionade. Shout out to Fangblade as well for making sure that they have a good open door. That's a Slep Tracer at the same time with no recall. Bionade at all. Gloomy says goodbye to Diamond Dog, and that's an even open door from Boise for UC San Diego. Even Diamond Dog has to acknowledge nice shot on the sleep dart.
Zinnia is pushing cart with the Tracer, looking for a grappling opportunity. Get a couple little ticks of damage on the Wrecking Ball, but at the end of the day, your Widow into a ball that's in ball form. But Moosh getting a 3-piece combo and taking care of all these Wrecking Ball landmines. Ball will escape because that's just how Ball is. It feels like Ball almost never dies regardless of what meta we're currently in, unless they do something abhorrently wrong.
Well, let's see here if UC San Diego can actually try to advance on here into that final point, because they're getting close. Nobody's really touching the cart, though. They're actually going to try to dive this upper part, and Reaps is going to find the double kill onto the Pulse Bomb. Lyric and Frost meet their grave with that Pulse Bomb. UC San Diego looking to advance on. There's still nobody on the cart, though, and it's going to be the 1v1 between Reaps and Diamond Dog, won by Reaps in the process. UC San Diego touches, they'll add another 90 seconds to the bank. It's 5-10 to get it to the 3rd point.
Now we got to push forward. We got to take these high grounds, especially at this corner. Granted, Boise State is not running a composition that will thrive exactly playing that long corridor after this bridge here that we just saw Winston jump off onto. But if we're playing this dive comp, we need to start forward and then disengage as needed, like our Winston's already doing. And looking for an opportunity to take out these supports who are pushed too far forward. We saw the Pulse Bomb. It did not land. It did not stick. We cannot recreate what Reaps did if we are Diamond Dog right now.
Yeah, Diamond Dog just not having a great time right now on this Tracer. If the Pulse Bomb goes wide and dies at the same time, it's not a fun time at all. Strider, though, is able to take care of Zinnia, so the Widowmaker gone at the very least. You're not looking down that long sight line. You know, trying to battle it out with this Wrecking Ball right now. Good sleep, good bionade, making sure that this Ana stays alive. Has to get out of dodge for right now as they will use the rally. The rally gets popped just to make sure that this team can stay alive for right now, especially when the landmines come popping down on your door. But Strider just is not enough health to work off of. Lyric actually drops down as well. Sleep Dart lands onto the Winston. It's not going to last for much longer, though. Rally is plopped on the other side by Hex. So Hex is going to try to make sure that they can swing this fight in their direction, especially around this corner. Nano boosted Winston, though, this last time. Got 3 final blows for Moose. This time gets 0. Strider's in your backline already. Reaps is gone. Gloomy's gone. And so is Zinnia. Zinnia cannot find that nade, and Strider's going to find 3, make it a 4th. They clear them out. Boise State will hold.
Okay, while the Broncos did manage to finally push back UCSD on this very powerful push that they've been doing here, I need to throw out, they ended up using Bob. We're only at 14% on Bob. We had to use Rally. Again, only 14% on Rally. Gloomy, though, took advantage of that Wrecking Ball ultimate, the landmines. 47% on Rally and counting right now. We did end up using Nano. We're very close to Deadeye, but I'm looking at this Pulse Bomb, this thing that has punished our backline multiple times now for the Broncos.
Yeah, well, 3:10 left on the clock here. Plenty of time. 2 minutes still wasted away from the timeout that they had before. Pulse Bomb goes wide for Reed. Moosh, though, is able to find the jump back kill on to the Ash of Frost. So this is now just a juggling game here for Moosh to make sure Lyric cannot play the game. Moosh is escaping barely with about 80 health. That's good enough to get back to the rest of the team. Home stretch now for the payload. trying to find any semblance of a hold. The Wrecking Ball can do it, though. 2:24 left, gets bumped away by the whip shot. It's going to be the Deadeye from above, finds two. Zinnia's going to clear them out, and with 2:38 on the clock, Tritons going uno, dos, adios, completing the entire map on Watch Point Gibraltar. Gibby is a very good map for the Tritons right now.
Zinnia, that final Deadeye was absolutely gorgeous. Also, not to mention, like, the high ground control coming in from UCSD, it was perfect. It was well timed. They knew when they needed to take the space. They knew when they needed to disengage. One of the things I need to point out, their Tracer player, Reaps, dominant in the Tracer 1v1s, absolutely abolishing that payload control in their favor. So perhaps we need to, for the Broncos, looking to have our Tracer on cart, disengage a little bit more frequently. Just be there to be present, take some cooldowns, run away, call for assistance when your team is already backing off to regain that payload control if we end up in OT. Now, it's going to be up to Diamond Dog to be Reaps on this attack. Can she do that and be performing well in these one-on-ones? When we're leading up to that bridgeway that you pointed out, which is where you want to get around that corner up past it, that area, typically you're smooth sailing when you're pushing the cart by yourself, but right after that bridge, that is where the enemy Tracer is going to come meet you. Who can help out Diamond Dog to ensure that victory for her in that 1v1?
Yeah, Diamond Dog really not having a great time right now, especially with UC San Diego's extreme push. And Moosh, they know that, Moosh wants to know that the Winston is still viable, even in what is a Mauga situation. If you're playing at Watch Point Gibraltar, yeah, the Winston can still work, and just diving into that back line entirely. Strider, though, did have a few highlights, especially towards that ending of the defensive side, but it's just UC San Diego too much pressure at this point. So the start off here with Boise State, 4 minutes on the clock, always to start. The Widowmaker coming out from Zinnia. Zinnia was hitting a couple of shots, and especially that Deadeye at the end. We didn't really see a lot of pop-off on the Widowmaker side, but can you make it work on the defensive end this time, knowing you've got better angles to play with? But right now, just nothing going here for either side, just maybe building up some ultimates. I say that until Strider gets there, and Moosh actually hits the wall. That's so unfortunate. Moosh got hit on side of the wall trying to jump pack away, and instead that's going to land up being a death. And so far, that's Boise State going to make their way easily down the hill and up.
I mean, not to mention, all of the sticky grenades landed onto Winston, and the focus beam was in sight if Strider didn't come in with a pile driver. Gloomy's gone. It is just this Anna left standing. Sliver of Health does get eliminated. We do hear a custody swap for Zinnia, which makes sense in this moment. I mean, with the changes, you are able to at least try and protect your backline a little bit more, but you aren't as squishy as a Widowmaker. I mean, after you've used Grapple Hook, what's left if someone can still managing to chase you? Gloomy does need to spend a bit more time connected to Ana, though, when Strider has full cooldowns like right now, and that case in point is right here.
Let's see if they can pull out a defense here for UC San Diego. Strider, though, getting rid of Gloomy is a big one for you because you don't have a break. The only thing to stop that Wrecking Ball right now would be the nade. But instead, the dive situation here looks better for the attacking team on both ends right now because Boise State's going to find 2 clean fights, and they're going to find a clean point as well. Add another 2.5 to the bank. Boise State adds on to the time. 4:51 to push this to the second point. But look, Strider already wants to play ball here.
Well, I mean, why not? Ball is so difficult to punish if we don't land this sleep and we don't get the concuss on top of it. But I think we just accidentally whiffed our grapple, so we have no choice but to disengage, unfortunately. That's
just unfortunate. You were looking for the environmental kill, and then, well, I don't want to say it, but womp womp, unfortunately, for that whiff. But speaking of that, missed pulse bomb too, you could say that at the same time. Good sleep dart onto the duplicated Tracer, which means they've got no chance at this. Boise State's going to find their way another fight win here, so it just snowballs over and over, and yet again, the Broncos taking rightful advantage of it.
I need to point out, my question was, who's going to assist Diamond Dog on this payload push? And the answer is Strider. I mean, every single time I think that I have seen the 1v1 start and it just starts to lean in favor of Reaps, that is when Strider has managed to gain space and comes back and helps clean up that payload in favor of Diamond Dog. We see the pulse bomb go off and Zinnia gets eliminated. We got the rally coming out. Do we need the raid boss, or are we going to be A-okay with just the rally?
I think you're just A-okay with the rally already as Hex takes him down. Lyric's going to say, yeah, we can save this. We've already won this. The only thing you've got to worry about. Left is a Tracer, and with Reaps gone on the whip shot, Rally is all you need. You hold on to the nano boost, you get the proper range. It's still, in fact, for UC San Diego, but that doesn't really matter. Fangblade, though, is going to switch on over to the Baptiste instead. So for the Bap, just trying to get some more healing on, but again, no Ana there either, and nothing to really cleanse out anything too. So this is going to be tough for UC San Diego to hold, especially around the first corner.
I think this is more Fangblade's wanting to do a little bit more damage, be a little bit more of a presence when it comes to that damage front, especially to try and deal with Strider. But we see the Pulse Bomb come through, the Immortality has been forced. Lyric's eliminated. Strider, though, gets Reaps in return, so there's a trade. However, I think the backline is slightly stronger. Brig is able to go in once we clear out the Wrecking Ball and be an absolute menace in favor of UCSD.
Yeah, so Gloomy holds on to the rally for right now, looking to see if UCSD can force a force a fight here, at least to defend, because they've got plenty of time on the clock. The difference right now, about a minute and 20 seconds between the two. And look how far Fangblade and Gloomy are right now. They want to play violent, but they might pay the price for it. Strider takes down Fangblade. It's going to be this Winston trying to help out the team in the back line. Zinnia, though, been really good on this third point, especially you saw there at the end with the Deadeye. Rally's going to get popped, and if you're Boise State, you're going to take that Gloom. You force that Gloom to use the Rally, although Zinnia still has the Deadeye, in fact, but no more support ults on their side.
Okay, so UCSD, though, they're coming up on this window, and I think you can agree with me on this one, ClutchKey. Window is borderline a cooldown in the hands of the right Baptiste. They'll have it basically every single fight. So I anticipate Fangblade to use this as soon as this Wrecking Ball disengages. Hex will likely respond with Rally, but we'll have to see what the true response is. Considering Zinnia is getting distracted, I don't think we're going to use that with Window. Here comes that devastating Deadeye that we had earlier, but everyone from the Broncos is disengaged.
And just a Tracer landing up on the wrong side of the corner for Zinnia to even get one on. However, does find the kill on the Diamond Dog, and normally when you have trades like this, it is favored the defender's side because that's how close the spawns are at this point. They're going to get the payload a little bit closer into home stretch range within the final 25 meters, but Reaps taking down Frost, not a good thing, especially when that Echo goes down very early on. But as I say that, though, Strider's trying to make do with the amount of health you got, and especially with the amount of support you got left. Moosh will switch it over to the Diva, gets back into the mech at 47%, but still, it looks like UC San Diego will hold on just long enough to get rid of Strider and to force Boise State back. The time bank goes under UC San Diego's.
Lyric trying to disengage, is caught out. I think recognized that it was a lost fight a little too late. And in those instances, if you don't have your Brigida, odds are you are going to find yourself back in spawn sooner rather than later. Lyric has responded, but the rest of the Bronco squad has already gone forward and started claiming space. So we need to be careful for Reaps here for this Ana for Lyric, because I anticipate, something kooky is going to happen, and it's Zinnia circumventing the map to come up behind the rest of the UCSD, well, behind the rest of the Bronco squad.
Yeah, that's the junior out of Fountain Valley, hitting some shots. Other characters we could see Venture and Widow, but so far so good for the Cassidy involved. And now it's going to be Strider just running for dear life. No supports, nothing, 26 health. You don't have a shield for the next 6 seconds. And Strider is just gone, just melts away. 145. This is a pretty nice ult from UCSD right now.
I believe Boise State at this point started with 1 extra minute than UCSD did, and now chopping off 4 of them is absolutely incredible. We're coming up on 3 ults, almost 4, and I'll count Fangblade is having the 5th. We'll have everything by the time this fight is in full swing. We have used the Pulse Bomb for Reaps. This time it did not land. The only ult guaranteed, though, here is going to be that Nano coming in from Lyric for Boise State squad.
Question is, where are you going to place the Nano? Are you placing it in the hands of Frost? Are you placing it in the hands of Strider, who's almost up to the mines as well? 1 minute on the clock. Deadeye's going to be pulled out. Deadeye doesn't land, but it's going to be good enough anyways. Reaps is able to find Lyric. Frost goes down as well. Time bank keeps melting away, and if you're UC San Diego, you only had to use 1 ult for it, and you trade out the Nano boost to win out this fight. The Tritons are smiling right now, knowing they got rid of a big ult in that Nano.
And they've still got 3 ults of their own. They have that window. Gloomy has Rally. I mean, just imagine a window to shut down the long-range access, and then the Rally to hold in the entire corner here just behind this Diva. Both of those ults are extremely powerful in these supports' hands, and your Diva has self-destruct to use as needed to remech and get Toki back. So we've got a lot of sustain with these ultimates coming online. And honestly, this Baptiste, I like the swap. You've survived against Strider so much more on Bat. But as I'm saying that, I might have cast caster cursed you, and I apologize.
Second level mines, and you can thank Artie for that caster curse. That's at the NerdyBird. The post bomb lands onto Lyric as well. 8 seconds left. Reaps is just making sure the Grim Reaper is well on their side. You see San Diego cleans. It's a team kill. The first to 3 is reduced to a first to 2.
That we kind of don't see new junk anymore. So when they selected that type, I wasn't surprised that it kind of just leaves us with Servasa. So now I'm thinking, so we're not going to see the Wrecking Ball. We're likely not going to see Winston coming out from UCSD either. I think we're either going to have a JQ mirror matchup, or we're going back to that Zarya to compensate for that JQ and to facilitate our DPS for the Boise State Broncos to pull this back in their favor. Now, is that going to ring true? Things can always shift. There might be small changes here and there. DPSs, I feel like, have a lot more rain here in order to swap things up to compensate for what the enemy team is doing. So we might see some swaps here and there from both sides DPS.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm looking at the lineup right now for Boise State, and I'm looking at their notes in the playbook here, and well, you might be surprised when we head in just in a little while. 30 seconds to the flashpoint unlocks. Teams are headed out. We're underway, as it looks like they will be pulling out the Wrecking Ball. The Wrecking Ball stays. The Wrecking Ball will play out.
Oh,
so will the change.
With the ball?
We stay with the Wrecking Ball. Strider will play the ball. Frost instead goes on over to the Ash. It'll be the Tracer. Exact same thing that I see on my side from Doc. It will be the Wrecking Ball combination. Why not? Again, Strider, best Wrecking Ball. Ranked number 1 on that. It's, well, 1 second left to play until that point unlocks here, and they're just putting on pressure, but so is Frost. Frost is getting put on so much pressure thanks to the venture of Zinnia. This is one of the characters UC San Diego said we would see out of Zinnia. Venture is there, and Venture is here to play. UCSD will get first flip on the point.
All right, so Keegan, I gotta give you my 2 cents here as to why this comp cannot stay as it is. When you run a Wrecking Ball Tracer on these control points, it's very paramount that your ball tracers stick together and execute everything in tandem with one another. If they don't have that timing, they don't have the target focus, things fall apart rapidly. And that first fight, your chaos, absolutely what Ball thrives off of, but the follow-up, ClutchKey, was not there. So things need to be fixed, and let's see if Frost swapping is that fix.
Well, Frost is going to try to walk in here, especially changing on over to the Echo instead, but Fangblade with the torpedoes instead finds Hex. Frost is gone, and UC San Diego having all the answers right now. They're just finding every single angle that Boise State wants to poke at them, and it's just turning them around. And it doesn't feel like Boise State has an answer for it right now as they back all the way off.
Honestly, I think mirror it. Truthfully, we have most of that mirror there already. I mean, you can stick with the Tracer over the Genji, but I think just pull out the Venture here from the Echo, because we're in small and close quarters, and it makes it harder for Echo to have free reign. It makes it more dangerous, and Zinnia is out in the open, a disadvantaged state, if you will, and taking absolute advantage of the Boise State squad trying to walk up and finding Hex. You can't go in without your Brig.
Yeah, you can't go in at all, and Strider's just going to say, well, we need to touch the point somehow. Unfortunately, costing their lives. It's a clean 100-0 first point going on over to the Triton as we move on over to our next point here. But it's going to be really, really tough, especially on the ultimate side. UC San Diego had won that entire fight without using a single one. Boise State, yes, didn't use a single one either, but that doesn't really matter when everything is online for the Tritons coming up.
And if you're the Tritons, you're going to take a fight in a smaller zone outside here in the open before the point unlocks. And then you're going to force the Boise State squad to actually fight you on the objective. If that is how you want to play, is because we are more of a brawly composition with this JQ as our spearhead. We see the pile drive and the landmines come through. We use Hyper Ring, it disengage back to point. Our Brig's getting attacked, but we're able to help our Brigida out. And here it is. We took that early fight, took the cooldowns, took the ults, and now we're on the objective. 0 ultimates used from UCSD.
Yep, 0 ultimates to win out that fight. They cut it away well. They cut it away beautifully. And so Boise State now having to find an answer without any single ultimate at all. Orbital Ray comes down, and that's the only one they're going to use here to find 2 picks already. That Orbital Ray still does damage, regardless of the nerf on the heals, regardless of the nerfs on Juno in general. UC San Diego says we're going to run the Juno, and so far it's paying off.
I think UCSD did their homework. I mean, if the Bronco squad has a set play, set composition they'd like to run on this map, and they've been very rigid about it, you've picked the composition and the play style to go against it. It does seem like it wouldn't work, but so long as you take these fights in an advantaged state, you will be successful, and that's exactly what UCSD has been doing thus far.
70% and rolling here. A tectonic shock will come out from Zinnia just to dissuade what Boise State is giving right now. Huge rampage onto 3. Strider, Hex, and Frost are all caught up inside of it. Frost will get out of the duplication. There is not a chance in heck you are going to take over this point unless there's a hero play from Frost, but Frost is in so much trouble up against a Juno who lives barely at 34 health. It's a 100-0 yet again, unless, well, it's just a little pesky tracer in the way of another clean point. 200-0 so far for this team from the Tritons. They're one away from taking this map.
In the past, you've heard me echo it, ClutchKey, the idea of the first 2 objectives aren't always as important. Sometimes you can just kind of ball them up and throw them in the trash can. However, UCSD did those so heavy-handedly in their favor. There was very little point presence from the Broncos in those instances that I feel like perhaps this could be done and dusted here before we hit all 5 points. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, but UCSD right now is playing this composition perfectly. I love what I'm seeing. I don't know how much we're going to get from Reaps on this blade, but we'll have to wait and see. Sight set on Hex, finds Hex, but Gloomy unfortunately also got traded out.
Yeah, slashing away though. Strider's able to find 2 in the process. Reaps tried to make use of whatever was in the bank, and especially just that blade, but the blade doesn't go for anything. And finally, Boise State's able to push through this line and find a pick or 2, but it costed them a pulse, it costed them the orbital ray, and then maybe costing them a rally early on too. So Boise State holds, but at what cost?
And we see a transition. Zinnia, Reaps, the Cassidy Tracer. Reaps is going to be able to go pull attention. Cass is going to be able to deal with Frost. I'm interested to see how this works with Moosh, because again, this turns into that, how do you facilitate your DPS as your tank in these moments? Whereas Wrecking Ball goes in, pile drives, your DPS come in, and you find those eliminations. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, our DPS decide to go deal with our counter, and we've lost Lyric, we've lost Hex and Diamond Dog. Boise State, they're all back in spawn.
Yeah, you lose all of them thanks to the good aim of Zinnia so far. Zinnia does go down, but that doesn't matter, especially on Flashpoint now that they're both going to spawn at the same time and are going to regroup to the rest of the team. So 20%, another fight here would be costly for Boise State, especially if it lasts long enough. So for UC San Diego now, looking to see if they can play off of the orbital ray. That will start us off here. Fangblade will play off of that already, and now it's going to be a duplication. Frost will get on over to the Junker Queen instead, but that duplication is just immediately melted away, and Frost will melt away too, just under the sun of the Tritons. UC San Diego just pushing them away with only 40% left. It's one fight territory already.
I mean, if Frost going for the duplication after getting caught out, he selected Moosh's Junker Queen. It made sense, but unfortunately, I think that extra couple 5 seconds that you gave yourself was actually not worth it in that moment, and we should have saved it. Now we're looking at Diamond Dog and Hex. These two are coming up with these ultimates. Can we get a good pulse bomb, or will Gloomy circumvent it? We actually managed to get the trade, and Gloomy doesn't have the wherewithal to hit the rally to try and save ourselves. We don't have the Hyper, nothing. So Zinnia, Gloomy, fall. Hex does get eliminated, but it looks like the Broncos might have a chance here on this objective.
They might have it, but Reaps is also going to throw the pulse bomb at the Frost. It is going to be the mines out for right now, but Strider falls away. UC San Diego, Tritons are online. There's going to be the rampage down. It's on to Lyric, but that's the only one you needed to hit anyways to try to touch the point. And the Tritons are up on the Broncos. The number 5 seed is one nap away from being 1-0 in the group.
All of the escort maps, basically Winston Playground. So we got taught a lesson on Watchpoint. You're going to be taught the same lesson if we go to push. Granted, there is an escort portion here on Hybrid, but if you can be extremely dominant on the control objective of this, if you're looking to see the comeback story here for the Broncos, that means on our first attack, we go as well as we can, but truly our defense is where we're going to look to shine here and full hold, or stop them at Archway, stop them at the bookstore type of situation here for Boise State when it comes up against the Tritons.
They're going to find some kind of answer, some kind of open door here. They're going to switch this up entirely for Boise State. They're going to have the Pharah out. They're going to have the Torbjorn out at the same time. So, or now it's going to be Frost switching on over to the Ashe instead, but already the pressure is on from Boise State just to hold on to this, or rather I should say San Diego was the one with the Pharah and the Cassidy instead. Zinnia's been doing so well on this Cassidy. See if you can do it again, especially stopping this Wrecking Ball from doing anything. Zinnia's able to get rid of the turret, but that's about it right now. Back to standard 5v5. It's just they're trying to find a way to just poke at each other right now, and also Strider's just trying to make Reaps like hell at the moment.
Yeah, Reeves probably was like, oh my goodness, watching my entire health bar get chunked away. Broncos, I really want to look at this comp though. Instead of, you know, that JQ or anything, we do still have Strider on this Wrecking Ball. We have Diamond Dog though on this Torb, which can help deal with some of the off-angling that occurs from UCSD, keeps you alive. You have the opportunity to actually heal up and move faster as Torbjorn. I think it's a stronger pick from the Broncos. But Reeps, being a small fish in a tiny room with a very, very big shark is not a good situation to be in, and hopefully you don't go back into that room again.
And especially when you concussive blast away to the wall. Yeah, the wall is not somewhere you want to be, especially in a small room with a Wrecking Ball. So there's going to be a good Bionade landed by Lyric that lands onto both Gloomy and Zinnia, who get away. Slam down here from Strider, just making sure that they don't have any like forward momentum, if you will. 2 ultimates online though. You've got the mines, you've got the Nano Boost at the same time. Orbital is going to come out from Fanglane, and Fanglane dies for it. Maybe still seeing something of a winnable situation. Deadeye is available, runs into the landmine, and Zinnia is going to take care, or is gone by the hands of Strider. Thanks to that, a roll into the mine is not good news. You never want to do that. But roll out of danger, not into danger. And 2:04 left to go. Boise State holds.
And unfortunately, we're staggering out our Diva, Moosh. We did it respectfully, though. We didn't just let the Diva... Look, there's a respectful element to the staggering. You don't just sit there and like let the Diva smack you while they're in full Toki, like they have their full mech and don't do anything. You did damage, you just did it slower, one person at a time. We then didn't all look at Diva, it was one person doing damage. The person that it precisely needed more of their ultimate charge in that moment. First it was Diamond Dog, then it was Strider. Prost just kind of sat there and was present.
Oh, that's a really good Bionade onto Reeps, but Reeps is somehow able to find their way out. Now it's going to be a good stun onto Zinnia and Moosh from the rally, but Hex still can't find the opening anyways. It's going to be the Bionade that lands onto the diving Reeps of Genji. Now it's a 1-for-1 trade, but Reeps and Moosh are able to find their way upstairs, covering it all. Reeps is going to get the pack, and it's going to find their first tick on the point. Now, can they hold on for the rest of it? It was only 2 that left there. It's going to be the turret down at the same time. Strider's out. They find a second point. Can Strider touch for the third? Will. Doesn't get stunned out by the rally, but still the rally is popped out from Gloomy. It is going to be the Molten Core out too from Diamond Dog just to hold on. But Moosh taking care of Strider is the big one here because they really have no contest on except for the bot who gets taken care of by the Deadeye. That's going to be all 3 ticks, and UC San Diego finally bolts the door open.
We have the Nano onto Hex, but a raid boss that is trying to disengage. I'm pretty sure Hex was not ready for that Nano because of where he was standing. I think we just unfortunately lost one of the most egregiously powerful combos in the game. But Hex is at 40% on rally. But yeah, our raid boss unfortunately passing away is not good. Now we're posted up here at Bookstore, very standard. Though compositions vary on this map, where we take the fights doesn't really change that much. But I do not know if UCSD is aware that Strider is behind them. We saw it, and yeah, there he comes right between them to create that disruption again, but he's doing it alone. We don't have the follow-up because we don't have any sort of momentum and movement-based DPS here for Broncos. And we're unfortunately going to be punished for it.
Yeah, this was one of the compositions that that Boise State was looking at with the Orisa coming into play. And it was going to be supposed to be a scout of like Orisa, Ash, Far. That in case, instead, Zinnia and Reeps are making sure that this Cassidy Genji combination is going to work out well. There's going to be a slept Orisa, but the Orisa is going to get away thanks to the Fortify. And it's just a landmine corner. But still, Moosh is alive, and this is what you get from the Orisa right now, just staying alive, and look how far pushed up they are, forcing out ultimates. They got out scot-free basically without having to force any ultimates. They don't have any ultimates to work with regardless. Zinnia does have the Deadeye online, pulls them all together for now, but it doesn't really matter because they're just pushing them back thanks to Strider. Strider hits onto the main and is just trying to right-click away. Fan the hammer, is going to do nothing there. Deadeye available, Deadeye used for nothing, and now it's going to be the Terror Search, but it might just still be good enough anyways. Moosh finds 3 inside of it, making a 4th, and it's going to be 4 final blows for it. Hex, though, trying to make the hero play, has to rally up. And can still play alongside of Strider 2. Has the blade out, but is the blade going to beat the rally? It will. Moose takes care of Hex in that final blow, regardless of the blade is good enough for the win. Is it able to take care of Strider? It is, and somehow, someway in that scrappy fight, UC San Diego pushes through.
Look, I knew UCSD was locked in for that fight when we had the Orisa in this corridor on the right side with the Mega Pack get dangerously low, have Fangblade there, and mind you, this is occurring. They're pushed so insanely far forward with the two of them in tandem because they were down Zinnia that entire fight. They had to maintain that space, or the odds of the Boise State squad pulling things back in their favor, regaining the tempo control, were huge. They knew what to do, and they executed it perfectly.
Talking with Reeps earlier, by the way, Reeps only put down on one of the 3 heroes to expect. The only hero to put down was the Tracer, but instead the Genji gets pulled on. The Genji's making some good work. As I say that, though, 2 characters already falling down for UC San Diego thanks to Hex. So Zinnia will move on over instead to the Widowmaker. So Boise State will hold on, but a minute 55 left. I mean, on King's Row feels like plenty of time. It also could feel like not a lot of time at all if these fights last super long. As already a dive up here. Reeps wants to get very, very risky with it. Already has to use the deflection, but to no avail at all. It's going to be a dive on in. It's going to be the orbital ray coming out from Fangblade at the same time, but that also means that this Juno is, or this Widowmaker is exposed, excuse me, as Zinnia finds their way to the grave. Moosh, though, is able to find Hex in the back line. No movement card on the movement anyways, but Frost and Strider holding on, and this is just the amount of pressure coming with a mobile security like this. You have Frost hitting shots, you have Strider on your back line, and Boise State holds on again.
That spear spin, the opportunity to get out of danger is the horse, but when you're the last player standing, you just got to run yourself in. Frost coming with a Hex will find the final bits of health to take care of Moosh, but now we're coming up on that rally. We have Terra Surge. Zinnia has opted to go to this Widow, which kind of does make sense. There's really no one except for Strider to deal with you, but that does mean you need to be fully aware of where Strider is at. And we are, on the flip side of that, coming up on this rally, the Nano, Bob is back in play, and these landmines. With less than a minute left, staggering these ults out for the Broncos could be huge. But Zinnia finds Hex, finds Lyric. Our supports are gone for Boise State. UCSD, this is time to hit the gas. Yeah, Zinnia, you're a sacrificial lamb. That's how you always feel when you're on Widow against the ball. But your team is making work off of those kills.
Oh, I thought Moose had it for a second. I saw a little bit of that moment where Moose is trying to push Bob off the map. Unfortunately, got pushed into maybe a little bit better location. This is a huge Terror Surge. That's 4 inside of it, and Moose finds a way to get 2. Triton's in the home stretch. They don't have anybody on the point right now. It's going to be at least the ultimate being popped. Hex will pop the rally. Gloomy will pop the rally simultaneously. Home stretch play. Reems gets rid of the turret. That's about it for right now. 8 seconds left. We'll hit the overtime clock. Mines come down. It will hit 0 in the process. There's a good Bionade onto Moosh, though. Moosh starting to melt away just a little bit, but still gets out of the Bionade range. Hex, though, good rally, good whip shot onto Fangblade. Gloomy falling away. Zinnia also low, can't get back to the health pack. Strider finds it, and now 2.47 meters left, and there is just nothing left to do but run into the mines, and all you got left is a fortified Orisa. No heals, no support whatsoever. Boise State shuts the door on the Tritons at the last fight possible. 67 meters, 2 points is all they get. Boise State needs basically the entire map to force a game 5.
I need to point out how ClutchKey says that's all they get, but then also Boise State basically needs to cap the entire map.
Look, there's a difference. They get all they don't get 3 points, right? That's they get 2.
That's
they get
true.
Very, very close, but again,
both
statements are true.
Right
both
there.
statements are true. It's
That
right.
it's
Our
just
observer is literally
how
pointing out where it should be.
That is just how close UCSD came to getting that final point. I want to say it's actually 68 meters or something like that. So they are very close. It is dangerous. Boise State is walking on a very fine line, borderline the equivalency of floss right now. They need to be careful. Remember, this is their comeback opportunity. If they lose this map, it's donezo for this series, and UCSD walks up with their heads held high, knowing they read the Boise State playbook, they read it well, and they countered it to a T, because that's all I've been seeing from them. Granted, yeah, they didn't full cap here, but if they prevent the Broncos from getting past that second objective, well, they can say that it doesn't matter that they didn't full cap. They still counterplayed one of what I would consider the titans of collegiate esports when it comes to the Mountain and West region over here. They're doing great.
Oh, yeah, they're doing great so far. UC San Diego putting Boise State on the ropes, even forcing out a Torbjorn from Diamond Dog. And I'll tell you what, when I had my notes here, Torbjorn was not on the playbook. Torbjorn was also not something I thought would get pulled out at all. Although Diamond Dog, I guess, or actually with Tracer and Torbjorn could have been pulled out either way. But so far, so good from Boise State. And at the same time, could very well pull out something different here. Bar is going to be on the attacking side now from Frost, seeing if he can get any very good early picks, and you don't have really a hit scan either, so Boise State trying to take advantage of that from so far what they see. So with the competition that they have right now, this is just mainly a poke. This is mainly just to build up ultimates or build up ult starters. But look at how far Moosh wants to play. Moosh is already all the way in the back line and making sure that they are not feeling comfortable. Banklake goes down, yes, but it's a 4-for-1 trade, and Strider has to get out of dodge.
It's exactly like how the current the counterplay for a Malga, so to speak, is when it comes to the compositions that we're running here on both sides. You see that ball go in, you see the Malga go in, your goal instantly as San Diego's, the instinct is I hit my shout, my goal is to trade backlines. Thankfully, in this moment, our backline survived, but it might not live here. They do. Okay, I thought I almost did it again, and I was going to be very sad. But you see Moosh going in. The target was Ana. We get the Ana, disengage a little bit.
Well, they disengage, and they're going to have to disengage. UCSD already finding 3 picks in itself. Now just building them ultimates. This Boise State composition, by the way, was mainly supposed to poke. It was the Torbjorn poking, it was the Farah poking. Instead, they're in dire straits right now. You don't have all that time to poke, and instead, they'll start to swap off. It'll be the Zarya swap. It'll be Lyric going on to the Juno. Frost will switch on over to the Echo instead. And this is almost a full team swap here from Boise State. They're trying to find answers, but the Tritons are giving them none to work with here. And look, Boosh has already pushed up, already using the axe to swing away. Look how fast they want to play with the hyper ring. Reaps will dive in, find 2 on the docket, and the Tritons have all the answers. Boise State has all the questions.
I do like the Zarya swap from Strider, but I think the Echo is not what we need because, again, you need to facilitate your DPS with your bubbles as the tank here of Zarya. And using them very selfishly doesn't work as well because typically it means you're already in a zone where if there's too much focus, you will end up getting eliminated. I think perhaps going with a transition to being more brawly style, Frost picking up the Venture would be good here because Zinnia is currently given a clinic on how to play Venture as a zoning character.
Yeah, well, the Venture was one of the characters, or one of the heroes we could see Zinnia pull out, and we've seen the Cassidy work out so far. Zinnia also making do with the Venture. Boise State trying to find something. Graviton Surge is there. They keep Moosh inside of it for right now, but Moosh and Reaps, though, still find a way to get picks. Moosh is inside the Graviton Surge and will axe away. So a Graviton Surge falls off, the Molten Core falls off at the same time, too. And Boise State's got 1 minute and 15 to figure out something to break through the Triton squad because right now UCSD is putting on the fence.
Look, we saw what they walked out on for UCSD, and if you're the Broncos, I don't understand why we took 2 fights as Wrecking Ball when this composition absolutely decimated us on Flashpoint, which is a control point on steroids. We should have gone for this swap sooner. Now Strider has to make these ults happen so much faster, and thankfully, Hex coming in with this rally and being a spear for the Broncos works great. We get the stickies on 2, find those eliminations, but now we have to push forward. We have to play with, we're grasping straws right now with our ult economy a little bit because we're relying on Lyric and Frost to hold this angle here to be able to hit the orbital ray after we get this objective on lock at the right time to maintain our forward presence and pressure.
Well, they do get the point. They do get an additional 2.5 on the clock here. And remember, when we got to the street space, UC San Diego was the one to snowball that time and give themselves more for that final push when Boise State staves it off. Instead, now we're going to get a huge rampage out. That finds 3. Lyric, Hex, Diamond Dog, all inside of it. Strider has the bubble himself, but it's not going to matter. You find the team with the rampage. You find the win on the fight. 2:30 left. They get the team kill entirely. And UC San Diego looking strong. And look at where that payload is. It didn't even move from the starting point.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't claim the space we needed to claim and hit the ults when we needed to. Now, we've got this, we've got copy. Frost hits it. We find Boosh. Can he facilitate the rest of this claiming of this high ground for his squad? Gloomy does have rally, but unfortunately, we've lost Strider. Zinnia disengaged and re-engaged immediately. The rest of the Broncos have fallen. That's another reset for them.
That's another reset. Look at what they're holding, and it look already Frost having to use the duplication, and the duplication falls away for nothing. Yes, you find a pick, and it might be a while, but the way they're holding this right now, again, the payload has not moved since 11 meters, and you know where 11 meters is? Right outside of the clock tower. You're not finding a single answer here, and so for Boise State, right now they only have 2 ults to work off of. UC San Diego might be working with 3 or 4. So a minute 30 left. They're gonna use the grab search just to get rid of Zinnia and maybe find some way of an open door. They have them in the backline here. There's gonna be Frost taking care of Fangblade in the backline. You have Moose to take care of too, but Moose doesn't have any healers to work with at the moment. So Boise State finally using it, but the question now is, was that Graviton Surge worth it?
Zinnia just got hate crimed. Like, I'm gonna be transparent. Strider looked at that venture and said no and hit the ultimate. There's just moments where you know sometimes that a player is just like, I've had enough of your games today, and hits it. But you said it earlier as well. We're looking at Hex with this rally, and Hex with this rally is going to be our point of savior here. Can it be enough though? We're going into Tectonic, Shock, Blade, Rally, Orbital Ray. UCSD is looking to lock this down and push forward. We hit the Tectonic. We have Hex hitting the rally, just trying to prevent the rest of this, trying some gaining extra space. But as soon as it goes on cooldown, I promise you, Reeves is going to start getting some eliminations, and it starts with Diamond Dog.
They tried to cut away, but it wasn't far enough here. Strider, though, it's going to be a Blade in a very small room. Reeps is going to find Slash and dashes away, finds 2 on the pick. Is it going to be enough to try to make this fight turn their way, though? It's a duplication from Frost onto the Juno, but that melts away at the same time. Moose has to get away from dodge here because Moose is on the tail, and Frost is in so much trouble. Melts away by the focus beam. Final 8 seconds left. Do they have a touch? Do they have anything left in the tank? Strider takes away Fangblade and Moose, and they will now touch the point. It's 3 kills, make it a 3rd here for Strider. So Strider's the last hope, and it's also going to be the rest of the team back. Diamond Dog switches on over to the main instead. Frost back with the rest of the team. So Boise State's got one last fight at this. Do they want to play it, or is UC San Diego happy to give up this point because they know they can play this in the home stretch? No, they will go ahead and dive in. Zinnia touches the point with the Tracer, so he popped off the rally, but at the same time, Graviton Surge is out. Frost will take care of Zinnia, and that might be good enough for them. The Graviton Surge hits, and it will be good for another 90 seconds for the Broncos to play.
I love the Venture swap from the Broncos. The amount of sustainability that Venture brings to the table is immense. Plus, again, lending yourself over to your Zarya, so it's not just Strider having to literally post himself up in a spot where, theoretically, if he's not given attention by his supports or my DPS aren't taking attention, I will get punished. And so we have fail-safes in this process. Plus, if Moose lands a good ult here, we can use those bubbles to our advantage.
A minute left to go. Blizzard's going to come out. They have nothing to stop the Blizzard, but that's okay. They clear out. Everybody kites the wave at the right time. It's going to be the Rampage out, and the Rampage finds all 5 of the members of Boise State. It's a huge Rampage for Moose. It's a huge fight win. 1 fight territory for the Tritons to take this series.
36 seconds in counting. I'll say that we have this Tectonic as well as Rally for this fight, because theoretically they will be on lock by the time the fight is happening. But we've got Orbital Ray coming in for UCSD, and we've got a Cassidy that is off-angling, waiting for his moment to shine. Comes in, it hits the... Ooh, Reeps came through, sliced and diced him through Lyric, and Zinnia hits Diamond Dog.
Reeps and Zinnia find their picks. 9 seconds left. Gotta touch the point. And gotta touch the payload. I don't even know if they have enough gas to. 4 seconds left. Good headshot from Zinnia. Time melts away to the even touch. You get the overtime clock, but it's just Frost left on this point to even touch. Tracer on the point as well. Blade's out. Blade's not gonna find anything, but will find one last slash away, and there it is. The Triton host prevails. UC San Diego wins the series 3-1. They get the 1-0 start in this group.
Thank you so much, Keegan. A great job to both ClutchKey and NerdyBird on the desk there. But speaking of great jobs, I mean, what a great job from UCSD. I'm, of course, Septilin's joined now by Moosh, tank player, Junker Queen extraordinaire, I think many could say. But Moosh, first and foremost, going into that series, you guys are the 5th seed to their 4th seed, right? So going in, what preparations did you guys as a team make to make sure, you know, it's not the number that matters, it's how far you make it in that bracket?
Overwatch is a game where any day, any team can come out and win, and I think it's just a matter of who wants it more. And, you know, there's nerves at LAN, right? You're playing not at the comfort of your home, but I think we're comfortable with each other, and I think the most important thing is I have faith in my team to do what they need to do, and that really puts a lot of trust in them, and they showed out today. Couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely, and you talk about kind of that importance of having faith in your team, and I think a good example of that is you and Reeps in particular play 2 characters that are kind of a little less common these days. You know, you've got Reeps on that Genji, you've brought out an incredible Junker Queen, even though she just got a little nerfed, but like those changes are there. So is that just because, like you said, that's what you guys do best? Are you picking those characters because you know that's where you're going to excel the best?
Yeah, no, I love Reeps. That's my guy right there. Shout out to Reeps, best tracer ever. But no, I think it's a matter of comfort, but also, you know, it's a game where you have teamwork too. You know, we're playing collegiate. We're not like at the Owl or like, you know, like going to OWCS. So you can definitely have more flexibility. But yeah, I think we practice it a lot, and I think that's what's important. And I think teamwork is the biggest deal. Having good synergy and making the right play, making the right calls.
So having survived Boise State, a team that a lot of people were really excited to kind of go up against, are there any other teams down the line? You know, you removed one of the top 4 seeds. There's only 3 left. So are there any other teams here this weekend that you're super excited to go up against?
Yeah, ASU. I think they're the top dogs. I want to see how well we can play against them. Also UCLA. They've been getting a lot better. Shout out to them too. They've been practicing, working hard. I think today is anybody's game, and especially tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited to play all the best teams, you know, prove yourself.
Without a doubt. He likes a challenge, he said right at the end there. So every team here ready to give it to him. Moosh, great job, man.